Welcome to a show, a segment about one of the cats that stole my heart. This is Mr. Kitty, and anybody that's followed me for many, many years knew I did a radio show back about 10 years or so ago about Mr. Kitty, who stole my heart. He was with me for about 1 year, and he got cancer, and he was taken away from me. But we're going to do a little tribute today, many years later, about Mr. Kitty. This is lost footage that we found going through a lot of things, and we found it on the old format, the old mini DV tapes. But this is footage I shot of Mr. Kitty a number of years ago. Now, Mr. Kitty came into my life where he was actually just born, and he was in a construction site, and his family was living there. They left him there, and when I got him, he was barely breathing, and I brought him home, put him on my chest, air-conditioned comfort. I got him on Labor Day back then, and I brought him home. I kept putting water in his mouth, and I brought him back to life, and he became part of us. That little house you see right now is something I built for him, with a little tunnel. This is a scratching post that I actually made for him with a bunch of toys on there. He used to like grab the toys and pull on it until the scratching post was up in the air, and basically when he dropped it, it would made a lot of noise, and he got a kick out of that because he got my attention. This cat was just unreal, but it was at a time when I needed a friend more than you can ever imagine. And this little guy with all the hair you're seeing now, hair was everywhere. No matter what you did, hair was everywhere. But he loved to look in the camera. He was just like his dad. He was a ham. And he just was just a card. The funniest thing in the world. Man, whenever I did something and I was working on projects and stuff, I would type up something. I would actually print up some kind of a form or something that I needed to promote my business. If it was something I needed, he would go to the printer immediately and destroy it, as you can see right now. He lived to go into that printer and destroy stuff that I needed. He actually taught me how to use the printer, use the computer, because I called a friend of mine. I said, Mr. Kitty just ripped everything out of my printer, and I lost everything. The computer went off and everything. And my friend said, well, just go to the part on the computer where you got the little arrows and the circles, and it'll actually bring you back to the program you were at. So Mr. Kitty was a card, but he was also somebody that taught me how to use the computer. And I'll tell you what, I never, never, never got mad at him. He made me laugh no matter what I did, no matter what he did. He made me laugh. I mean, he lived to see me and be with me. It was just something else. And I tell you right now, I had him for exactly 1 year to the month. And when he was taken from me, it took a huge part of my heart. I mean, he put a hole in my heart. I went out and I got another cat right away, and that's Angel, cat I have now. We're going to talk about her in a little bit, but this guy was such a card. The radio show I did was for an hour straight. My technician cried through the whole radio show. I had people calling, and we talked about Rainbow Bridge, where pets go after they die and they're waiting for us to pass on. Well, I want to meet Mr. Kitty again, because he was, look at the face on this little sucker. I mean, he was just so cute. And like I say, he stole my heart. When they took him from me, it put the biggest hole in my heart you can ever imagine. He was just unreal. Some of the cool stories about him, man, it was at a time when I really needed a friend, somebody like him with a personality. Well, cats don't have a personality, they have an attitude. But I needed somebody with an attitude just like him. and he had an attitude. You know, you could have a cat today, but nobody's ever had the attitude that this little guy had. And it just, he lived to make me laugh. He lived to entertain me. He just was so on key, and he was so part of me. He loved to look in the camera. Like I say, he was a part of me. And he, from the, you know, I got him when he was 11 weeks old, but from that day on, he became what you're seeing right now. Mr. Kitty, what a tale he was. We still miss him. But this is a show about pets, and this is like footage that I found now 10, 15 years later about some of my pets. I don't know if any of you follow me on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube or on my website, but if you do, you know that I am a pet person. I really love animals, and as you can see, all I got to do is put my hand out there, and Mr. Kitty would kiss my hand. He was just so into me. Look at those eyes. What a killer he was. Tour Chicago with Richie Z. Personal and private tours, 2 people, 4 people, or 6 people. A tour of Chicago you'll never forget. Chicago is our inspiration. The Mag Mile, Museum Campus, Historic Chicago, Theater District, Millennium Park, Water Tower, Art Institute, and so much more. Call Richie Z at 312-841-2560. Our website is at www.richiezie.com. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Richie Z. GoFundMe page. Very important that we get funding for projects like this. We also do historic presentations of Chicago on Zoom. So tune in at RichieZ.com. Still looking at Mr. Kitty, and he was just such a card. But anytime I was around, man, his eyes just were on me. He was into me. He was just a part of me.
Every summer we hear about kids and animals dying inside a closed-up car. We're going to give you some tips to prevent that. Number one, if you ever take your dogs for a ride in the car in the summertime, we suggest bringing water with. This way they won't dehydrate. They'll be able to drink some water. Also bring a leash with, so when you leave the car, when you exit the car, you can take them with. If you're going to leave them in the car for a little period of time, a few minutes, you want to definitely open the windows up. If you have a sunroof, leave the sunroof open, leave the windows open about halfway, and leave the water container open. You can always put water in a Tupperware container. Your kids should never be left in the car either. You know that the temperature in an automobile can exceed anywhere from 150 to 180 degrees when the car is completely closed up in the sunlight within a matter of 10 to 15 minutes. Your kids will not survive that type of heat, neither will your dogs. Dogs will only last maybe a matter of 5 to 10 minutes.
Like I said earlier, this is some vintage footage that I found that's been tucked away in boxes and containers and whatever. We're actually cleaning house and going through a bunch of things. I may be moving in the near future from the location I've been in the last 10 years. But now you're seeing Mr. Lucky and Fergie. Fergie was a little Yorkie that I got. Mr. Lucky was a Yorkie that I got from the shelters. He was back in the shelter 3 times because he was abused, and he was abused by children, and he didn't get along with anybody. Man, he bit you no matter what. Well, he ended up with me, and we both had a real killer life together.
Wild world of Classics with your host and executive producer, Richard Zadkowski. Hi, I'm Richard Zadkowski, and welcome to another episode of The Wild World of Classics. Today is one of my favorite shows. I'm going to get plastered right on the set. What we're going to do is plaster the layout, the train layout that we have. By the way, this is my my real good buddy, Mr. Lucky. He's been around for a long time. Been involved in a number of shows, but he just likes to come around and just kind of give moral support to his dad, right? My little boy. Okay, my little boy's going to go over here. He'll be a good boy, right? Mr. Lucky.
You know, I'll wrap this up because we're coming to the close of this, but man, I've had so many pets, and as you can see, my pets become part of me, and they'll do anything. You're looking at Angel right now, and this is the pet that took me through a lot of surgeries I've had in the last 8 years, and she was always with me. Here's a time I came home from the hospital, and she laid with me. We got Fifi a number of years ago, and she became part of me too. This is another 100% Persian cat that became part of me too. This is just a cute footage of some of the pets that I've had, not had, and now you're seeing Fergie and Mr. Lucky on the motorcycle with me. And you know, it just I posted a lot of stuff on Facebook with pets, and a lot of you have reposted it and got involved with what I do, and you can relate with what I do and what I post. This one coming up, well, this is Goldie, and she's a friend of mine that hangs out in the front yard. But this one coming up right now is a piece that I just put up on Facebook recently, and we've had over 1,000 shares with this little piece right here. I'm Richie Z, and I'd like to thank you for watching and tuning into a segment about my pets. Visit us at YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook at RICHIEZIE. Call me direct at 312-841-2560. Go to our website at www.RICHIEZIE.com. Go fund me at Richie Z. It's very important that we get funding for programming like this.